Hey guys, Magic Slayer here. Just a little different here. I know that this doesn't quite look like Empyrion. Uh, it looks like my desktop, and a much cleaner version. I cleaned up my desktop for all you folks. And today we're going to tackle a question that a lot of people have. It's how do I make planets? Well, I'm not just I'm not the kind of person that just makes a planet. I make ridiculous planets. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a ridiculous planet. Crazy planet. So let's get started. All right, well, we're going to dig right in here. We're going to go into the Empyrion Galactic Survival folder. This is the core folder for Empyrion. You'll notice that, like, all these right here, these are logs. Um, I have mine in Steam Apps Common, Empyrion Galactic Survival. You may have saved it differently, but regardless of where you saved it, how you saved it, this is the core directory here. And I'm going to go down to Content, which contains everything for the game, the all the assets for the game. And right here in scenarios, these are custom scenarios. These are little it's the game, but it's different alterations and variations of the game. So that way people can edit the game without actually changing the whole game. It's one of the gems from 6.0. And I'm going to copy over Mercs here. This is a test world I did for a buddy of mine, Inverted Cow. Check out his YouTube channel. Really cool guy. He wanted a beta version of his Merc world from the Wolf server. So we're going to go ahead and copy here. We're going to paste this, and we're going to rename it. And we're making ridiculous worlds here, so we're going to name it WTF. Because what the fart were we thinking? So we got WTF here, and this has extras, playfield, prefabs, and sectors. Extras, that's the PDA data. Playfields are all the planets and space sectors. Prefabs are any kind of custom bases, custom ships, anything like that that you had put into the game. And sectors is what fits all the world together. And we're going to go into sectors here. I'll do a whole tutorial on this file later, but for right now, we're going to change Arnhart. See, this is the sun right here. Now you can take the sun out and have a sunless sector if you want to do like a galactic kind of thing. But we're just going to leave that in here now. It doesn't really affect the game at all. And this right here is the location of our planet at X, Y, and Z here. So it's named Arnhart. Now, Arnhart's the name of the Merc planet on the Wolf server. Let's change this up a bit. We'll do WTF orbit, and WTF is the planet name. Now that's the planet name. This is the playfield name, and then this is the origin start. So we're going to change. You know what? Not WTF. I want ridiculous, because we're making a ridiculous planet. And I may be spelling this wrong, but hey, it's ridiculous. So, and let's name the playfield WTF. So we keep it simple. So that's the playfield name. That's the actual planet name that shows up in game. So let's go ahead and save this here. This is Notepad++, by the way. It is very handy. I use it all the time. I'll show you more about it here. Let me get into playfields. Einhart is no longer Einhart. Let's change this to WTF. That's the playfield name that the sector file looks for, is that folder name. Everything else is named playfield, so it's fairly simple. Let's delete this playfield because we're not using Arnhart. We're going to go back into content and into the core playfields. Let's grab the desert playfield. Let's copy this back into content, scenarios, WTF, playfields, WTF, and paste it right there. So now we have the vanilla copy of the desert world, or Omicron. So let's open this up and take a look at it. Now, if you're wondering what all these little special characters are at the end of each one of these lines, basically what it is, I went to View, Show Symbol, Show All Characters. For the simple fact that these are YAML files, and YAMLs are very particular about white spacing and about tabbing. And let's see if I can. There's usually a spot where one of the devs had tabbed, or one of the creators of the playfield tab. I'm not seeing it, so we're not gonna worry about it. But anyways, tabs are bad. Don't tab. Don't tab in YAMLs. It's all spaces. So, all right, quick rundown of the actual text YAML here. We're going to use two programs. We're going to use Notepad++, and we're going to use another program called EPD, which is Empyrion Galactic. I'm sorry, EPD, Empyrion Planet Designer. And what EPD does is it allows you to edit these values, but it gives you nice windows and drop-down menus, and it's a really, really good program. I highly suggest it for anybody. I mean, it's not an end-all. I mean, there are some things that it doesn't do, and some things it doesn't do right, but it helps streamline a lot of stuff. So, I mean, it's a godsend. Okay, so this right here, the real radius and scaled radius, this is the size of the planet. We really don't want to mess with this. It creates some very weird things in the game, especially the green barrier problems. Because the larger the playfield, the screwier it gets. So we're gonna leave these two alone. I've changed these. I've doubled the size, and it was a very buggy planet. I've even halved the size, so it actually looked like a little moon. It was really cool, but they don't work yet, and I'm going to stress yet. Usually it says do not edit over here on the side. So, all right, this is your gravity. This is the 9.81 is actually Earth gravity. So this right here is, the gravity of your planet. Atmospheric density and O2. These are things that I think affect bullets. I haven't messed with those too much either. Atmosphere breathable, self-explanatory. Can you breathe on the atmosphere? Do you need a helmet? True or false? Temperature of the day, 45. Temperature at night, -5. Of course, that's the core temperature of your planet, day and night. Music, I don't mess with music too much on recordings, but this here, you can change the default music of your planet, which is it's kind of a cool feature, especially if you like the in-game music. I enjoy the in-game music. Unfortunately, I get DRM strikes anytime I play the music, so I've just cut the music out completely. Radiation, this is the core radiation for your planet. Now, temperature and radiation, I say core temperature, core radiation, because certain biomes can also alter the radiation, can increase it, can decrease it. But this right here is the standard. This is what the planet refers to. Day length 24. Again, something else I really don't mess with. Planet type desert. It's an Omicron desert type. Generally, I don't change this. I'll just grab another playfield YAML. If I want to temper it, I'll grab the temperate one. Moons, this is kind of outmoded. I'm not entirely sure why this is here. Because moons are determined by how many other playfields you have in your sector. So, water, you can have water green, water blue, water red, and lava. Sea level type, or sea level, this is the height, basically sea level. Sea level is at 29. You can set this to 0, you can set this to 255. The higher the water, because water's only so deep, and then it's just, there's like an air pocket, so I probably wouldn't mess with this. You get some really screwy results. I wouldn't change it drastically. A couple points here and there, that's fine. PvP true, always. I just always do. This is a custom seed. Now, you can, I did this before, and it had really, really bad results. I gave each playfield a custom seed, and in my mind, I was thinking every playfield on the server was going to be unique. It was going to look different if you had Snow Planet A, Snow Planet B. Snow Planet A was going to be different with different features than Snow Planet B. It didn't work out. What happened is the server seed rendered, and then the new seed tried to render as you moved, and it was horrible. You couldn't do anything. So I don't suggest messing with this. Use fixed, false. We'll explore this a little bit in EPD. Um, there's some really cool things you can do with fixed location, and there's some things that it kind of messes with. So we'll explore that more in EPD. Playfield difficulty. This is like points in whose line is it anyways? It's completely pointless. This difficulty does not determine how many experience points you get or literally the difficulty of the planet. So it's kind of an outmoded value. You can change it if you'd like. I usually just leave it at 3 or I'll change it to 1. Let's see, playfield type, planet. Don't really change this because there's two type of playfields. There's planet and there's space. And space playfields are completely different. This is kind of an outmoded playfield type anyways, or an outmoded variable because of how different the space playfields are. Although it looks like they didn't say don't change it. They gave you options. So who knows? They may be using it. So description. This is, of course, how you would describe your planet. And there's special characters for color. This gives you the origin start. So if I change the origin to, invertebrate, it would give origin invertebrate right there. So start. This is still part of the description. It just says you start in an escape pod. We can change that. It doesn't matter. It has no bearing on the game. It just describes the planet. Solar flare. This is the color of the solar flare. There's only so many, like blue, red, white, that kind of thing. Atmosphere. This is if you want an atmosphere. These are colors here. Their percentage of red, blue, and green, or red, green, blue. Light. This is the intensity of light during the day, at night, shadow strength, and the color. Fog. Intensity, color, all that right here. Clouds. Wind speed. This is something you don't want to change too high. Too fast of a wind speed can just make you puke because all the clouds are moving really fast and everything's whipping around. And yeah, I don't normally get motion sick in games. This being too high actually makes me motion sick, so be careful. Special effects. These are the little dust balls and fireflies that fly around. Special effect global. These are the weather effects, the lightning, all that. Global effects. Well, all right. Let me rephrase that. This right here is the weather effects, and these are the global effects. These are the meteor showers, the lightning bolts, that kind of thing. These are the actual things that can hurt you, like heat wave, fog radiation green, and we'll change those in EPD. So, terrain and decorations. All right, this is probably this is the largest part of the YAML files. This is the textures on the ground. This is the decorations. Like right here, the main biome, the texture for high up is, what is the, okay, so all right, this is the mid texture, this is the bottom texture, and then this is the ground texture. Not entirely sure how they set that up, but we'll take a look in APD, of course. This is the decorations that scattered around the entire playfield, small rocks. So these are the subbiomes. This is all the little biomes within the main biome. Biome or texture replacements. All right, so we have the water biome, lower plains biome, higher plains biome, and mountains. Not too much on Omicron, really. Resource deposits. All right, these are the resources in the game. These ones are This is what spawns and what's diggable in the ground. The size, how many, and if there's a drone present on those. So these right here, fixed resources, these are the ones that you set an exact spot for. And you can have, we'll play around with this in EPD. Resource asteroids, these are the asteroids that fall whether when a resource is tapped out, or they can just continuously fall. And POIs, these are points of interest. These are all the bases and everything you have on your planet. This is the wreckage. Usually spawns where you start. Drone base Omicron and the planet vessel base. These are special. You have to have the POI here, and then later on it defines what they do, and that's down here. It says drone base setup. Now this is the setup. This tells the game what the drone base does and what the planet vessel does. Let's go back up here. TS Omicron, this is your trade station. Abandoned factory, portal, crash ship, civilian settlement, Xeno Tier 1. Now these group names, these are set in the in-game actually. If you double click on your blueprint menu, you can actually set the group name. And we'll go into further detail with that too in another tutorial when we start making custom POIs. I'm definitely going to cover that too. That is a very, very fun aspect of Empyrion that a lot of people don't tap into. If you love making your own custom bases and think, man, I wish this was loaded with aliens and would spawn on the map automatically, that's where you do it, and we'll cover that in another tutorial. But as you can see here, let me break this down. You have your group name, which is Xeno Tier 1. How many do you want on the map? A minimum of 1, but no more than 2. Drone probability is at 100%, or 1. You can have a decimal point, which is percentage, pretty much. Drones min-max, no less than 1, but no more than 2. There's 3 drones in reserve, so you destroy those 2 drones, and 2 more will pop up, or 1 more will pop up. Troop transport, true, so if you attack the base, the troop transport will come get you. Spawn POI near drone base Omicron. So this Xenu tier will spawn near the drone base, but it will avoid the TS Omicron and wreckage. So it will spawn no closer than 600 meters to the trade station and the wreckage. And this spawns its own resource, Prometheum resource. This actually causes some problems in the game that I experienced earlier. We're going to have to take this out eventually. We can add our own end, but we want custom resources on the planet. That's got to go. Same thing with this. This one avoids the wreckage and the drone base. So this one actually spawns other places in the world here, and it has a POI distance of 1,000 meters. So it's a kilometer away from the wreckage or the drone base Omicron. These are fixed POIs. These don't spawn in unless you enable the fixed POIs up at the beginning of the file. I don't normally use these when I do planets. See, these only spawn in creative. And you can name them. Like this is Outpost Omicron, but it's the base type is BA player. Oh, the prefab is BA Outpost Omicron V2, but the name is Outpost Omicron. Position, rotation, is it powered? So you have creative, debug, and these are all debugged. So we're not going to worry about these. And then there's this one that's this right here. This is a message. It's the hashtag. Anytime that you want to take something out without deleting it, you just simply turn it into a message. Or I can put a message in here basically saying, "Hi, Mom." And the game won't read that. It won't read that as being anything, but it will save it in the file so you can send notes to other developers, other planet creators. All right, fixed player starts. The only one that's really used is, you know what? These aren't used unless you enable the fixed start or fixed POIs. But most of it's creative, and you have your debug, and then you have the survival escape pod, where you start with medium armor and all these items here. There's the drone base setup. It's pretty easy. How many drones, min max, reserve count, drone probability, difficulty, and preset style. These determine whether how infinite drone waves, single attacks, that kind of thing, and the preset style, what time they attack, how they attack. We'll get into that later. Stock. These are the drones that are stocked in the drone base. And also the Zurek Male, Zurek Rocket, the Crawler, the Overseer. These are in the troop transport. Planet vessel base. This gives you what patrol vessel, its position in 3D. So a lot of good useful stuff there. We'll edit that a little bit in EPD. It's a lot easier in EPD than it is to try to remember what different types of planet vessels are available. Let's see. Drone spawning. These are random drone spawnings throughout the map. Those are fun to increase. Creatures. These are all the creatures that spawn in the game. So we have here in a biome, cave worms green. They only spawn at night. 2 spawn at a time. There's no delay. And you restrict the height, the elevation that they spawn at. So that's what breaks down the creatures. And of course, each one has got desert, low plains, and cave worms, spiders too, and I can't pronounce that word. Sorry, guys. They spawn in the low plains, and here's what the spawns for the high plains. Now that is the YAML. That is what is in each playfield YAML broken down. Now we're not going to edit too much in here unless we absolutely have to. It's always good to go back and check and make sure that the values that you're editing in EPD do get changed. Sometimes, not very often, but I've ran into instances where EPD did not change the value, and it created some weird things. So it's always good to refer back to the playfield YAML. Alright guys, this here is the website to get the Empyrion Planet Playfield Designer. It's made by JMC Burn here. And this is the latest version here, 1.33.7, which if you guys are familiar with 90s hacker speak, it spells out leet. I thought that was kind of funny. But this is where you would download it, and if you have any questions about EPD, this is where you would ask them. Because this guy, he works really hard to get this updated all the time and current. And so the changes that the devs make, he jumps right on and gets this updated. He's an excellent guy. Never met him, but he's a really, really hard worker. So check this out, support him, and definitely use this program. All right. Now, let's go to EPD here. This is a very, very handy tool and is a must for anybody that is making their own custom servers or their own custom scenario. So I just clicked here on scenarios, opened up the tree. Let's go to WTF, playfields, WTF, And here's our playfield right here. You're about to reset the current open playfield to defaults. Are you sure? Yes, because there's no playfield open. All right, now immediately I'll show you some of the differences and the reasons why I use this. First of all, you have a drop down. It gives you all the other different planet types, all the different water types. Let's change ours to water red. So there we go. Uh, Local special effects, I don't have to remember what those are. I can just go ahead and use this drop down and use one of these. Snow, grime, you name it. Same with weather effects. One of my personal favorites, the color picker. So you have all these colors you can choose from, or you can mix your own. And that right there has saved me I don't know how many times, because I don't have to sit there and figure out, and as you can see, I don't know if you guys can see this, you don't have to, let's see if we can enlarge this. It's not going to let me. Okay, anyways, you don't have to sit there and try and figure out what percentage of blue, green, and red you want to add to your color. You can just use a picker. Let's go over to the resource tab. These are all your resources. Biomes. This one's a little bit more complicated because you have your sub-biomes and your biomes. Generally, if you have a question on it, just double click on it. It'll tell you, all right, that's the small desert lake, or desert small lake right there. And then you click on that, and then it'll tell you some of the features. So you have the seaweed, the big seaweed, the hydrilla, which I like those more than I like those. Big coral, real rock, waters, and usually they'll give you an image. This one doesn't have one. See right there. So that's the seaweed. And then you could change this to scaly pods or whatever. This also allows you to change the desert or the terrain type, how the terrain generates. And we'll mess with that here. These are your POIs, your fixed POIs, drone setup here, and creatures. And as you can see, it's a lot easier than trying to edit the core file. So, all right, so let's get into editing the planet, starting with our ridiculous planet. So, one thing that I want to change first is the description here. It's probably the easiest, has the lowest impact. Let's change escape pod to trade station. Only because dropping down in the drop pod is so passe. We do that all the time, and I don't want to do that on Omicron, or on Ridiculous, because it's no longer Omicron. Difficulty is going to be effed up. It's going to be effed up difficulty. So now we're going to change this to oh my god. What were we thinking? Origin, we're going to change this to fresh meat. And of course, you guys can have fun with this. I mean, it's the description. Depending on how serious or how lighthearted you want to be, it's a description. I mean, it can be anything. So let's save this here. Now, there's two ways we can save. We can hit save, or we can hit save playfield as. And when you hit save, it creates a backup, which is good because we want to be able to back up. The problem is you end up with about 50 million backups and one playfield, and it can get crowded. So generally what I'll do is I'll go save playfield as, and I will save it manually this way. And let's reload this here, make sure that it worked. And yep, sure did. All right, so first things first, let's change the gravity. Now, of course, another feature of EPD is all you got to do is hold your mouse in one position over a specific value, and it will give you a minimum or maximum that you can create in that value. Now, gravity is measured for some reason in negatives, so the higher or the lower the negative, the higher the gravity. So let's see. If we can go a maximum of 50, let's see what a negative 50 planet is. Save this to the playfield. One important tip, change one thing at a time. Or one or two things at a time. So that way, if something happens, if the game crashes, you can go back and undo what you did. Because there's a good chance that something will conflict and your planet will not work. And instead of scrapping the entire planet, you can at least go back and troubleshoot and undo some of the stuff that you did. So let's see, got this play field here. Let's double check it. All right, it seems to have saved. Now we can go into Empyrion, content, scenarios, WTF, playfield, and WTF. Let's take a look at the playfield. Let's see if it actually changed. And yep, right here we go. Gravity negative 50. So we know that it's saved. We know EPD had saved that. We're good. We got difficulty effed up, fresh meat. Oh my God, what were we thinking? Start trade station. So we're good there. Everything's good. We're going to leave that open. And let's open Empyrion. All right. Now that Empyrion's loaded up, let's go to new game. And scenario, I kind of right click here, and since it's a W, it tends to group in alphabetical order. So here we go. Start location is ridiculous. And type is a desert planet. Now our gravity is 5.1 Gs. This is crazy. That's 5 times Earth gravity. Temperature, radiation, okay, that's all nominal. Difficulty effed up. Fresh meat, human. Oh my God, what were we thinking? Start trade station. These are the resources: iron, cobalt, copper, silicon, promethium, magnesium. Depletion, meteorites, iron, and cobalt, and the random meteors, there are none. Let's go to... Ooh, hey, local co-op. Cool. Let's go to start. Whoa. I can't move the escape pod. This is crazy. That was ridiculous. Okay, all right. I'm going to stop doing that because no pun intended. All right, this is me jumping. Turn on the jetpack here. I can't even get out of the hole. Oh, there's our red water. Can I swim? Yep, I can swim. Doesn't seem to have an effect on gravity. I just cannot get out of the water. Alright, so negative 50 is 5 times Earth's gravity. It's, yeah, probably not the best. So let's go back. Let's change this up. Let's do let's do negative 16. 16.5. Nope. 0.5. What is it doing to give me a point? 0.5. 16. 16.5. Save playfield as playfield. Replace it, yes. Reload the playfield to make sure. And it seems to reload, so alright. Now, the majority of this game is, or the majority of doing these playfields is trial and error. You're going to want to play around with these numbers, change them, and test them. Change them, test them. So it'll be a reoccurring theme where we're going back and forth between the game and EPD to make sure it works. Now, EPD does have a feature about actually doing this in a live game. I haven't set that up yet. I'm not entirely sure how to be honest with you. But it is something I'll probably do in the future, and that's what this right here is: reload playfield in game. So we're not going to mess with that just yet. So here we go. All right. Now at negative 16, we have a gravity of 1.68. And we did negative 16.5, so that's our gravity type there. And let's test this out. Alright, take the stuff there, let's jump. Oh yeah, okay. So that's jumping. This is backpacking, or jetpacking. There's definitely a higher gravity, but it's not a ridiculous high gravity. I'll probably keep this as is. Oh, we want ridiculous though, don't we? So we should probably try to do a 2 times Earth gravity at least. So let's exit here. Let's change this to, let's do negative 20. That seems to work. That should be 2 times Earth gravity. Now let's change something else too. Let's see. Let's change the temperature. Now we want a ridiculous planet, something that isn't impossible to play on, but it's going to be really hard. So let's see. We want the daytime temperature. Let's do negative 200 degrees Celsius. Oh wait. You know that? Let's set this one to 0. Let's do the daytime temperature. It's 200 degrees Celsius. Let's do the nighttime temperature as a negative 200 degrees Celsius. Base temperature will be 5. Something like that. And let's do a radiation of 15. So those are 3 things that we changed here, and as long as we keep note of those things that we changed, if something messes up, we can at least go back and change it. So let's go save it on the playfield. Let's load this into the game. Now, one thing I'd like to point out here before we get started on the planet is a lot of the changes that you do to this section of the playfield will show up here. So we still have the gravity is 2.4. So it's about 2 times that of Earth gravity. Temperature is negative 200 and 200. So that's daytime, nighttime, the min-max. Radiation's at 15, so we got to be careful of that. And of course, weather conditions, atmospheric density, that kind of thing. So these are the changes that are mainly going to show up here. Of course, when we start changing other things, will show up here too. So let's hit start. Alright, so right off the bat, we start getting hit with rads. It's rad. So, oh wow. Okay, yep. As you can see, jumping is affected. Let's put our jetpack here. Yep, can't survive too long in this kind of condition, but it is survivable. And if you play smart, you can actually live and make it through here. You know, it's these aspects too that make the game more difficult instead of just relying on the in-game's difficulty settings. Even at the highest difficulty, this game is tame at best. It's not a bad game. It's just not the hardest game out there. But this makes it tough. But we're not done yet. We're still going to mess with this, and we're going to make it tough. Tougher. Wow, it's really hard to get up this mountain.